Welcome everyone to the podcast. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm grateful to have you here, and I am even more so grateful to be able to share with you some of the insights coming up for the October energy. So welcome to your October 2023 energy update. There is a lot of goodness to share, and I say this in a really good way. Spirit had a lot of things they wanted to talk about, and I was really pleasantly surprised that it was all within the realm of positive things. And I kind of asked them, I'm like, well, aren't there any kind of like tough things coming down the pipe we need to know about? And they said, you have enough awareness, you meaning all of us, we have enough awareness being given to us at any moment, any time of things happening, things crumbling that we could see through media, things within our communities. They said there's enough focus on that right now. The focus needs to be on the frequencies that are holding the line and helping to increase the consciousness on the planet. And so they said, first and foremost, please let everybody know that the consciousness of everyone on this planet is rising, even in those that you think there's no possible way that this or that person or this community or this group is possibly rising in their consciousness. But they're saying within every person or group, there are cracks that are forming, and through these cracks are coming beams of light. And I thought that was so neat. It was such a beautiful visual of how light can permeate all things, even given a little crack, it lets the light in. And so there is a lot shifting. So they said with that understanding, they want to bring through some of the really cool things. So one of the first things that I did mention in a video previously is that there's a big, deep connection happening within Earth, the elemental realm, Earth spirits, and element consciousness. Meaning, like I mentioned in that video, trees have a deeper ability to communicate energetically, or even through clairvoyance, clairsentience, clairaudience, your ability to see, hear, and feel the communication, but also in a very healing way. So connecting your energy to a tree, for example, can bring your frequency back to a grounded, centered space. So say you're at work and there's a crazy meeting that happened and you're just feeling really riled up. If you were to be able to go outside and put your hand on a tree, even if it's a tree, say it's downtown, but you put your hand on the tree and you take a moment, it has the ability to help ground you. You can connect with the elemental nature, the frequential nature of that tree to reground your energy. That's on a very simple scale. Looking at the other side of that scale is many of you may experience a deeper connection with the fairy realm, either in your reality or in dream state, or maybe in meditation. You may connect into the frequency and energies of water or wind. You may hear messages in the wind, or a way that can show itself. If you can't hear the energy of the wind talking to you like you would a spirit, one way that it can speak to you is, say you're standing by the water and you're pondering this thing and you're like, I think I want to go with decision A. I think that feels right for me. And you're like, Spirit, can you help bring in a confirmation that I'm in my highest alignment? And all of a sudden this big gust of wind comes up and whirls around you. That's a way in which the element of wind can communicate with you. So it can happen in many different ways. So for some of you, it will be that. Others of you may notice, like I said, plants, trees, even animals speaking more clearly to you, whether that comes through your intuition, again, the clairs. What I'm saying essentially is Mother Nature in all of her expressions is becoming more communicative, not in just doing something to you or a community, but rather in the way in which it can communicate with you. So there's this co-creation happening right now, which is so beautiful, and something that I think has been a long time coming for the collective. So there have been many people that have known this connection forevermore, but more people are coming into this awareness that is becoming this collective awareness, which I find so exciting. So the invitation from Spirit is for you to tune in. Tune in, and that tuning in can be a deep meditation, or it can simply be sitting in nature and observing. Notice what happens. What do you hear? What sounds get louder? What animals do you find approach you? Like whatever it may be, notice it, because nature is coming alive in the many different ways. You may find you merge with water. You may find you say you light a fire and you're watching the fire and you have this whole spiritual experience by connecting into watching the fire. Again, there's many ways that nature can come alive, but the elements and the elemental nature are ready, willing, wanting to communicate and collaborate with you. Now, the next thing on the list here is Spirit is saying that there is a great split in reality and awareness happening. So I had done a podcast a little while back on perspectives, and that your perspectives really dictate your reality. There are a lot of people that are really understanding that, not just from my podcast, but I'm saying they're understanding this within their own journeys, in their own collective way, meaning it's becoming more conscious knowledge of like, what reality do I want? Instead of what is reality and I will abide by reality. It's more like, what do I want it to be? Is creating greater splits in reality. And so we're coming into more knowledge of recognizing that my reality may differ from your reality, but that's okay. Doesn't mean one is better than the other or one is right or wrong. They simply are expressions of the soul experiencing itself. So when that happens, we're then able to step into a more multifaceted understanding of reality, which then allows for much more compassion and growth. It's not as rigid, it's malleable. And when it's malleable, it's not stuck to an old frequency. So there's powerful change happening there. So you may find you're noticing the split in reality in a very big way, like glitches that you're noticing in your daily life. Or you may notice that when you go to bed at night, your dream state is one reality and your waking state is another, and you're very clear on the two. And so it's just notice, what is reality to you and how is it changing is the key. Now, the next thing that we have for October is we have eclipse season that starts. So, excuse me, eclipse season takes place where there are 2, sometimes 3 eclipses within that time. This time for this season, we have 2 eclipses, with the solar eclipse happening on October 14th with the new moon in Libra, and then we have the lunar eclipse happening on October 28th. So these are times of big change, big shift within the alignments that we've been creating. And that's why this eclipse season is going to be so powerful. If we go back to the energies we were feeling in April, what came up, what shifted, and then what we went through in the summer and how we adjusted, accommodated, changed, manifested or began to manifest, whatever those realities are that we've created during this eclipse season, we will see big things unfold in relation to it. So what that can look like is, say you have been wanting to manifest a move. You're like, how's this going to happen? I don't know, but you've been focusing on it, aligning to it. Suddenly in eclipse season, you could find that your house sells right away. The other house that you want to buy happens right away. And it's like bam, bam, bam. Before you know it, all is in motion, like fast. That's what eclipses do. They create these tangible shifts within our reality so that we are in more greater alignment. So that says that if you're not in alignment and you're not recognizing things that need to shift, eclipses can cause more chaos and turmoil for people. But that's usually when you're not conscious about who you are, what you're doing, and your connection to all things. If you have consciousness and you're working towards it, the eclipses have an ability to eclipse and shift things in your favor. Now, the neat thing about the eclipses too is that's kind of where the universe gets to take over and bring in their version of a response to what you've been manifesting. So when we enter an eclipse season, we're kind of on this roller coaster ride of the universe's response. And so it's really interesting because sometimes we ride on that ride and we're sitting in this energy of trepidation, but really it's about, look at what the universe is bringing for you to help move you out of where you've been into where you're going. And we're in such an energy of movement. October is all about movement. September was still about movement as well. So there's a lot. It's like I can hear this train coming down the tracks and it is moving fast. I can hear it. I can feel it. That's the energy of momentum and change, and then doubled down by this eclipse season. So it's going to be really interesting. Now within that though, I do want to say you can keep reinforcing the things you want even within eclipse season. So that still applies. It's just an extra emphasis of what the universe is bringing forward for you. Now, the other thing we're going to see an even bigger influx of is Spirit said there is a big rise in divine union happening within October, November, and December. So a big rise in physical divine unions between you and a soulmate, you and a twin flame, you and a divine partner, whether that be romantic or for creations of things in this world that matter. These beautiful divine unions are happening. And so October, November, December are set to click in, several of them, to like lock them into place so that there is steady concrete guideposts is what they're showing me for the momentum of 2024, because 2024 is about divine unions. It's a big energy of divine unions. So for those that are kind of helping to pave the path, and yes, there are already some out there. There definitely are, but there are many more like locking into their position so that more can find that path. So again, for those of you that are feeling like there's a divine union of some kind really lingering close, October, November, and December, there will be a heavy emphasis of making these happen within this reality, which I just think is so fantastic, because love in all the ways that it's expressed is a beautiful thing. So whether it's a love of friendship, of family members, of deep eros, romantic love, like however the love is shared between two or more, because it can be within a family unit, community. When it is shared, it is amplified, and that feeds into the collective like you wouldn't imagine. Love frequency can even permeate through a fear frequency, which is why this divine union energy of 2024 is so significant, because it's helping to really break through those barriers of that old energetic matrix we have. And it's just beautiful too. Who doesn't love love, right? Love is just a beautiful thing. And so again, October, November, December, keep your eye out if you have been feeling this. Now, Spirit also said within the eclipse season, there is a heavy emphasis of divine interventions. So, I mean, it all aligns. It makes sense. It all aligns. So they're saying within this, but not limited to eclipse season. However, I do want to say a lot may occur during eclipse season. Spirit is saying there's divine intervention at play within the realm of either miracles or unbelievable synchronicities. Synchronicities that you're like, they're reminding me of the Page of Cups. Page of Cups? I think it's the Page of Cups card in this one tarot deck. Has this little pig flying in the corner. You know, that concept of like, yeah, sure, that'll happen when pigs fly, right? Because pigs don't fly. But on that card, there's a flying pig, meaning all things are possible. So you may be surprised with these beautiful synchronistic divine meetings that you could not have possibly imagined. But when you look back on it after it's happened, you're like, wow, that was a miracle. That was divine. That was synchronistic. Spirit is bringing a lot of magic to the energy of this fall. So again, we can look at this fall as dark and dismal and only watch news and only take in fear narratives, or we can listen to the beautiful magical energy that is at play right now for so many. It's available to all, truly, who want it, who desire it, who are trying to manifest it in their realm. So one of those magical pieces is divine intervention. They said get ready for various types of miracles. Another aspect of that is a lot of energy coming down from the cosmos, from the stars, to remind you that there is hope for the future. Spirit really wants to emphasize this energy of hope, this energy of success, of the fact that we are moving in the right direction, and they want to bring through these, again, synchronistic events that allow you to fall deeper into trust and hope and faith in your own journey, in your reason of why you're here, what it means for you. So that's going to be coming down from the cosmos as well. Again, we may see a lot of that within the eclipse season, but that's not limited to. Another thing that's coming down for October specifically, though, is inspired action. So with all this movement and momentum, you may find that when you decide to kind of jump into this river that is flowing, you are carried exactly where you need to be, but it requires your action, your jump to be swept up by the momentum. So you'll be asked to take an action on different potentials. So things are going to come up for you to act on them. Again, always take the time to feel into your discernment, what feels right, what feels aligned, but then act on it. Because this momentum and this action potential, like you are ready to jump, is how I'm seeing it, is so valuable. So again, use your discernment, but the energy is inspired action. Inspired action is really, really on the table right now. And then there's another one. Spirit said too, many of you will be redefining, this month you'll be redefining your roles within your home. And so that can be said on a couple different ways. So we could look at it in a very 3D way of like, maybe you do most of the dishes and maybe you're redefining that you know what, you're going to do dishes on Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and your partner will do them the other days, right? It could look like a very 3D redefining of your home. It can also be though, and I think this is the case for more people, is a redefining of their own essence of home, how they take care of their home, tending to the matters of their home, and that home being your body. So how are you taking care of your body? What does your body need to feel healthy, to feel well? What does that look like? Redefine what it is. Because for many, pushing through the slog that we've been going through since 2020 has been a lot and has taken a toll on the body. So October is this time of like, you know, October being very big Libra energy as well, is of balance, right? The scales of balance. And so there's a desire to redefine how you take care of your home, the matters of the home, how you take care of your body, how you take care of your mental health, how you balance joy with action, how you balance your work life with your home life. Like, how are you taking care of yourself? Is it working for you? And if not, what do you need to do to change it? Use the energies of change, of the eclipses, to help balance out how you need to change it. So, something to consider. All of the things that we talked about today are all feeding into the collective pool of consciousness. So that's what Spirit was most excited about, was that everything that we mentioned, all of the intentions you set, the divine unions, the synchronicities, the miracles, the inspired action, the shifts even that take place in the eclipses, all feed into the collective pool of consciousness, which is getting bigger and bigger and bigger by the day. Spirit is like, if you could only see this pool grow, you would see the magnitude at which it expands daily. And that's something they are so excited about. And one way that they're just showing me right now, one way you may notice this is even in your work environment or your friend groups, notice how some of the conversations are changing. Notice how the conversations around the water cooler, like they say, or conversations on girls' night or guys' night out, are changing to more depth. Not just surface, but changing. Like, what do you feel? I'm inspired to do this. I have this new passion. Let me tell you about it. Like, all the way into spiritual stuff. Like, do you connect with spirit guides? Have you heard of spirit guides? Like, just notice how those conversations are changing to give you an idea of how fast this collective pool of consciousness is expanding, because it really is. So I am beyond thrilled to share this October energy update with all of you, and I'm so glad there is so much positivity in it, so much support from the higher realms, from Mother Earth, from your soul, from the collective consciousness to really move and break down the energetics of fear and step into the energetics of love and compassion and conscious choice. So I will leave that with all of you. Thank you so much as always for joining me. I appreciate you so very much. Please do, if you're able, rate the podcast. That helps with the algorithms and helps it reach more people, as well as share where you can. Subscribe if you're watching it on YouTube and all of that goodness. And as always, check out avalonspirit.com for courses and things that we're teaching. And that's about it. So thanks everyone again, and I will see you all next week.